I'm just okay. Oh, well, I'm not in, but I'm not out. Thank you for joining us on The Word, broadcasting live and on demand here on YouTube. Thanks for being with us. I'm James Mundia, and I'm joined by. Do you want to introduce yourself, or do I have to introduce you? We got to figure out a way to do that?
We really should work on this. I'm Rich Abernathy, James' very humble co-host, who I don't know what my new middle name will be when you sign us off at the end of the show, but
yeah. No, you have multiple middle names.
I kind of like that shtick, though. It's kind of like like the old South Park days where Kenny would meet some gruesome end at the end, and you just never knew what was going to happen, but you knew it was coming.
That is what I'm going for.
Just with random middle names, so pretty much as exciting and cool as the South Park thing.
I'll even go one step further than South Park. I will go ahead and say it's like the Dick Van Dyke Show intro, and you didn't know if he was going to trip over the ottoman or not. That's really what I'm going for. But I like yours because yours has more variety.
Listen, if we bring nothing to the internet, it's 50s comedic sensibilities.
Yeah, toots. We're going to have like secretaries and like smoke cigarettes like indoors. And actually,
we're not cool enough to be on AMC, so no.
Speaking of the intro, I do have one announcement. What do we call this? A program note.
A program note, yes.
Which is, of course, next week, Monday is the national championship, so we will not be broadcasting.
We won't be.
No, no, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them I can't.
I know one of them.
What?
I think you're going to have a vested interest around 907.
I hope to, but not just that. I have a secret reason why we can't be broadcasting just yet. And then another reason is...
What's her name?
I wish that was the case. Then the other reason is we're taking next week off because, and I haven't even told Richard this yet.
This is true, you have not. I'm finding out just like you. See, this is what's magical about the show. We're a community. We truly learn things together in real time.
It's what happened last week when I thought that Rich was cheating on me with another podcast. I was really concerned. It turned out to not be the case.
It's complicated.
That's the status on Facebook. But we're taking next week off, and then the week after we are launching a revamped Word podcast, not renamed. I know I talked about changing the name of the show. Maybe that's later, but we are going to have a new look Word. We've been broadcasting for a little more than a month, maybe 2 months now, on and off. And
this is episode 63, actually. Time flies. We were both clean shaven when we started.
We've actually just been broadcasting one long show. It's like Big Brother for this 3-month period here.
Yeah, it's like the what's the new Cloverfield movie with John Goodman? We're just holed up in the bunker recording podcasts.
10 Cloverfield Lane. That's kind of what, if you really get serious about podcasting or any kind of media production, that's kind of what it feels like, because you just spend the entire day in the editing bay that you don't even really like know what the outside world looks like anymore.
Oh, believe me, brother.
I know you. Yeah, I've heard stories from you. You do this as a.
We do have one room that has one end of the room has some windows, but most of them are completely insulated.
Right.
It could be 2 in the morning or 2 in the afternoon. You have no idea.
I did that to myself when you and I started working together at Student Television. I spent countless hours. Basically, I'm not going to say it's a waste of time. I'm not going to say it was a waste.
Comedic gold doesn't write and edit itself, James.
That's true. It needed to be edited. It needed to be.
And one day we will write and edit that comedic gold. But your pursuit towards that in those early years was inspirational, I must say.
Oh my gosh! Somebody needed to put a straitjacket around me and get me out of the studio.
We need to find some of that stuff, just because at the time there were things that were like intentionally funny or that we thought were intentionally funny. But I think now, it's like less of that. It's like 25% intentionally funny and 75% like, what the F were we trying to do?
Yeah. I think that's always the case when you go to older stuff, especially if it's stuff that you're in. Like, I cringe at when I was talking about I was on that soap opera and that at the same time, I cringe about like that footage. Like, I just want it to burn. I don't want anyone to see that. But on our show, Not because it was bad, because it's, this was like 10 years ago. But on our show, I will say that the format is not too different than what we're doing now. And I think we had, obviously, the good vibe. The live call-ins were key. I don't know.
Nothing says mid-2000s like taking live AOL instant messages.
That's right. We had instant messenger. Oh, my gosh. Oh, wow.
I always wonder, every sort of era kind of has its thing. And I wonder if in 2026 we're going to look back at, oh yeah, remember when people used to send tweets to other people? That was funny. It's just going to be something else.
But let's really get real. And I agree. It's like instant messenger has died. What did you say?
Let's stop being polite and start being real.
The mad real world. Well, I'm upset. No, I am mad because we use Skype at work. And why didn't anybody tell me that Skype is instant messenger? It's the same thing. I've been looking for a place that allows me to communicate with everybody. Of course, what's the most important part of instant messenger is the away messages, obviously. And
the slightly emo song lyrics that was subtweeting before subtweeting was the away message. Can you imagine LeBron's away messages when he was a junior at St. Vincent St. Mary's?
Oh my gosh,
that might be that's a skit right there.
There you go. Whoa, that's another reason why I need an intern. All right, we're putting an application on the web. We're getting an intern. This is ridiculous. Too many ideas coming through here.
Or at least a smart puppy, something.
Something that can write those ideas down. A puppy could do that. Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. That was subtweeting, and I'm mad that I didn't realize that Skype is instant messenger now. It's like international instant messenger, I guess. Instant messenger.
Well, here's the problem. So you have WhatsApp, you have BlackBerry Messenger, you have GroupMe, you have text message, you have email, you've got Skype, you've got Twitter, you've got Instagram. Much like when you get into the televised medium and you're dealing with, there's this show on this network and that and Hulu and there's just so many, it's so spread out. There's not the uniform, hey, everybody's on this. Hey, everybody you need to talk to is on this. That's part of it. It sort of feeds the beast because everybody has to get on this because, that person's on there and they're not on this. And it just causes, the more spread out it gets, the more spread out it gets. That sounds really simplistic and somewhat obvious, but I mean, it's sort of like a pyramid scheme of communication. It's basically what it is. Just think about on a regular day, how many different forms of communication you have, whether you're sending an email, you're sending a voicemail, you have a Skype call, you send a text, you send a tweet, on a slow day, you're using 5 or 6 different forms of communication. And if you much less try to keep up with everybody in your life or everybody you need to talk to for any reason, it just continues to extrapolate out into all these different forms of communication. And I don't know where it stops. Honestly, maybe the next revolution is how things tend to take a step back and then take a step forward. Maybe it comes back where in 10 years it's hey, everybody's using 3 things before it explodes again.
Well, okay, but let's get real as I post our live link on Facebook here. I should have done that earlier.
Well, that's fine. They can watch their first part of the show later.
Yeah. I say, see, I like what you said on a slow day that you're using 5 or 6 forms of communication. But isn't that kind of becoming a thing now where there are those people that are saying, okay, no. I only I don't text or I don't call or whatever.
Yes, but they're making their demands, right? No, you adjust to me.
Oh, so you're saying that? Do you think that proliferates it more?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
that's part of the reason you have to have so many. Is because people refuse. I think you could honestly really get away with a cell phone for calls or text, and obviously email. You can do all that from your phone. Twitter, which you can also do your phone. If everybody had a cell phone, Twitter account, and then one other form of semi-group instant message, whether it's Google Chat, GChat, or Skype or GroupMe. I prefer GroupMe. I'm a big GroupMe guy.
Okay.
Even more so than group text because you can actually like silence it and turn it off if you're not doing stuff. Because there's nothing worse than being on a group text when you're in the middle of something and it's just buzzing every like 10 seconds. And you're in a movie and you get out and you have 97 new text messages, like, and then it's all like the most like inane stuff. I mean, typically.
No,
which I enjoy, and I do have like the fear of missing out on the movie. I'm like, oh, well, what is it? And then it's just like 8 people saying okay or ha ha for the same joke, and it's really nothing. But you have that FOMO, and but I do feel like if we could consolidate into a couple of main groups, it's easier. But then, I mean, you've got Snapchat. It just doesn't stop. It's like every day it seems like there's a new way to communicate with everybody, and everybody bails on one and moves on to the next one partially, but there's always a few people that get left behind, and
that's
you have to expand so much to talk to all your people.
That's why the next invention from Abernathy Labs is that app, and it's coming to you people in 2017, and it's going to be called. Are you ready for the name of the app? This is your.
Well, it's already been invented.
What is it?
There's an episode of The Office. I don't know if you remember this, if you're a big Office guy, where Ryan the intern, it's about wolfing, and it's like one message and it goes out to all, like, everything, like all platforms.
I don't remember this episode. No, and that's kind of earlier. Oh, wait, because didn't he get like, wasn't that when he was like, in the
exactly
hierarchy?
Meteoric rise. Which, by the way, I work with a guy like that. I love this guy to death. But he will, if he's trying to get in touch with you. I mean, we're on like the same level. He's a peer, but it's like he will text you, he will call you, and leave a voicemail on your cell phone, on your work phone, on your email. He'll page you. He'll try like 8 different ways to get in touch with you, but he will not tell you what he wants. And it drives me crazy. I tell him, it's like, what do you want to know? It's like, hey, just give me a call back. I got a question for you. Hey, call me when you get a chance. I have a question. Just ask me the question, and I can answer it, and we don't have to go through this whole, like, back and forth. Now, if it's a conversation we need to have, okay, I get it. But if it's just like, hey, where do you find this? Or, hey, how do you do this? That I can, like, text you or email the answer to. Just let me know what you want. It's not that hard. That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
Classic 48 laws of power. Make them come to you. Brilliant.
This is not like next week on Lost where you have to tease me to get me to like tune in and like keep me in the dark as to what's going on just so I'll stay invested. If you want my help or you want to know something or want my opinion, just ask.
Classic. I like this guy already. He's read. Ask him. I want you to ask him at work tomorrow. Have you read 48 Laws of Power? His answer is definitely going to be yes, and it potentially could be
definitely a no.
No, listen, and
it's definitely. If you want to play some side action on this, it's a no.
Cut his mic off. I guess I can do that. I'm gonna be. I'm going Bill O'Reilly in here.
By the way,
no,
if you cut my mic, your voice would still come through on my mic because that's how loud it is.
No, I'm telling you, he's read 48 Laws of Power, and he may have already actually read another Robert Greene, another Robert Greene book. Just ask him. All right, and yes, okay. Side action. No, not even side action. Show action. If I'm wrong, then I have to. Okay, I got to do something embarrassing. Oh, what if I'm wrong? I have to get a haircut. No, that's not embarrassing.
Let's not get crazy. But this needs to be a weekly segment, by the way.
Okay, it's going to be called Side Action.
Or
if I'm wrong,
show and tell.
Show and tell. Do you remember? Speaking of old school episodes, do you remember one of the classic skits that we actually, or segments that we actually have never produced on any of the incarnations of this show? Do you know what I'm getting at here? It involves,
I do not know what you're getting at.
Going into the pit, right? This is the large common area at UNC. And
go ahead. How would you finish?
Having things written out on the chalk because it was a chalkable area, and
This is hilarious. I'm enjoying this. You're just melting down.
Woo. Oh my God. Having
I thought you were going to bring up the Pitt proposal.
no. Oh God. Oh my God. That was terrible. I had to be there for it was like hours,
Yeah.
and nothing happened. Anyway, no. It involves. Whew, let me get my eyes good here. Ooh, it's an emotional episode of the word. Whew. No, it involves having things written down on the chalk, and then you jump to one of them, and the segment was jump to conclusion. And we never did it.
You took a long time to get there.
We never did it. I don't know why.
A trot to conclusion right there.
I don't know why we never did it. It's brilliant. Okay, but no, we call it show and tell. Okay, so
I like side action's growing on me.
Okay, side action, and
when we reboot in 2 weeks, we'll have
it'll be decided.
It'll be decided.
No, I'm telling you, right? He has read. Ask him, and there's no way to verify though, because some people would find that book. They would find it embarrassing that people know that they've read it, because it's not necessarily like a self-help book. It's kind of like a almost like a. It could be viewed as
like a Thomas Covey 7 Habits type of deal,
but a lot more intense. But yeah, you're exactly right. It's like that type of writing, but very like, this is how you get what you want, and it's very to the point. It's not like, 7 Habits is about to be a better person and communicate. Yeah. This book is like how to
much more
manipulate. Exactly, that's exactly what it is. So, but your boy's read it, and we'll find out.
Yeah, lock of the century. He has not read it.
Stone cold lead pipe lock. I disagree. He has read it. Anyway, that being said, one of the things we were worried about before we came on the air today is that we weren't going to have enough stuff to talk about, which goes to show you that we should never worry about that, because we'll always find something random. Never. We haven't even started the show yet. Well, we have, but we were supposed to lead in with how you and I were 100% right on the Final Four, as we always are. We picked the Super Bowl. We've got the Euros coming up. Is that this summer? Or is that – yes, it's this summer. So we're going to pick those.
For soccer?
Yeah. I think it's – or is it qualification? When is the next World Cup? 18? Yeah, Euros are this summer. Yeah. It's always like, offsets.
Olympics are this summer.
We're gonna be 100% on gold medal picks. Easy, got it. And we were 100, but going back, we're 100% on. Everybody who did. How do you not see Syracuse getting to the Final Four?
Listen, I've been saying it since early February. The Cuse is a lock to go to Houston. I mean, nobody would listen to me. Actually, I will say I did probably about a month ago. I did make a bold statement that the lowest seeded team ever was going to win the national title this year.
Oh, that wasn't even a month ago. That was
which is
2 episodes ago.
Still in play.
Right. Wait, the statement was that the lowest seed ever will win
the national title.
And so you have a 10.
If Syracuse were to win 2 more games,
yeah,
be justified.
Well, again, it goes to show you we're never wrong on this program. People also need to understand that.
But after the first game of that 2-game stretch, I might be murdered by some of my compatriots from Chapel Hill for perhaps publicly rooting on that perception. But I don't look. Here's the thing: Carolina's the best team, and I thought it was kind of close with them in Kansas, and now Kansas is gone. That gap is widened. If Oklahoma wins and Buddy gets hot, I know Villanova's sort of been underrated the whole time apparently, but I just don't see anybody beating this Carolina team, and it's kind of weird because it's not a great team. I don't think it's just one of those years where, look, they're very talented. They have a lot of talent, and they're deep, but aside from the occasional great Bryce Johnson game or Marcus Page gets hot from 3, in 5 years or 10 years, you can say, "Oh, do you remember blank?" And it's a guy that's on this team.
No, I like where you're going with that, and that's actually one of the things that I've.
That's not bad.
No, it's not. No,
there are teams like that. You look back at teams that won in the 80s and 90s, like, oh, that team won. Like, I mean, that guy's okay. That guy played in the league for a little while. But it's like traditionally it seems like teams you see win the title have at least one guy who's like a pretty good NBA player. And outside of Bryce or maybe Jackson, maybe, I don't really see that many guys sticking in the league, much less being like core rotation pieces on this team. And it's just kind of one of those weird years. Now, the thing is they have like 9 guys that are just a notch below that level. But it's just, I think they're just peaking at the right time in a little bit of a weak year.
Yeah, it's theirs to lose, which is a very jinxy statement. But
Roy could never screw that up, I don't think. I don't think there's been a single time in Roy's career where he's been the prohibitive favorite to win a title and he hasn't followed through and done.
Okay. Ooh. I like that.
That was sarcasm, by the way.
Oh. Wait, really? Okay.
How many times at Kansas?
Yeah.
Or even some other Carolina team. That wasn't meant as a troll. I was just trying to make a joke. I mean,
I really wasn't sure if you were serious or not, because I feel like, there's many times where he has had that in the palm of his hands and has the team and has that NBA level talent, and it doesn't seem to come together. And in this case, it's different in the sense that they are the best team in the country. It's theirs to lose. And that makes me feel a little bit uneasy, though. It's almost like, are they like, I watched the press conference with it was Marcus, Bryce, and I don't remember the name of the third dude.
Where Theo couldn't find his name tag? That one?
Is that the one Saturday?
Yeah, Theo Pinson, yeah.
And so I'm looking at it, and I'm like, there's a level of, there's relaxed, okay, but then there's comfortable. And that's a tough, and again, you just won, celebrate, of course, 24-hour rule.
Right.
We got another sketch we need to do is we need to go and compile all the locker room cliches. Hey, guys, 24-hour rule. All right, we win. We got 24 hours. We forget it. We move on to the next game. We lose. It's the same thing. Like, I want a compilation of all of that.
I know we're up 22 at the half. We got it's a 0-0 game, guys. That's my favorite. Actually, here's an idea. How about you play like you're up 22?
Ooh, that's a revolutionary. Don't be ashamed of the fact that you're winning. Anyway, okay, we're gonna get in the locker room. I want that, but I want the coach to actually leave the locker room and start talking about that, like to like the barista. Like, you dropped the cup.
Can we have a Chuck Amato cameo? Special teams captain. I need a special teams captain.
Special teams captain.
Shout out to Joe Nick.
We got to wait a minute. We need to just get him on the.
We got to get him on.
I'm texting him. I'm texting him after the show.
Listen,
like, look, you're coming
Masters
on the show.
is coming up. He and I are both in the golf world. Now, since there's no show next week, we can't do like a master preview. Since I was not consulted about the master transmission schedule.
Do you want to do a show next week? We don't have to. We're just not doing it on Monday. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, what? A special Tuesday edition, national championship recap.
Okay.
We'll look ahead to the Masters, first major of the PGA Tour season. We'll try to get you know what? Maybe we should try for 2 guests next week.
Well, who are you thinking?
Well, obviously we need to get the greatest player in the history of football on.
Wait, what is it?
Joe Puppies, Chips and Salsa, Cabrera.
I'm going to close my laptop. I'm closing the laptop.
We need to get him on.
And Matt Jones, that's the actual greatest player in the history of football, right?
Yeah, Matt Jones.
Matt Jones is still in the league.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not. He is long gone.
Dude, go ahead. Who's your next guest?
You read that in your 48 Habits book or whatever. And so we need to get Farrah on. We need Joe Nick. We need Platinum Joe, whatever he goes by now. We need him on the show.
Okay.
And depending on what goes down in Houston, a friend of the Word program, who is now a sports writer for the Greensboro News and Record, my buddy Powell Latimer. We need to get Powell on to talk some ACC hoops.
I know Powell. Wait, do I know Powell?
You know Powell.
He worked for the Daily Tar Heel.
Daily Tar Heel?
Yeah.
He's an excellent writer. You should check him out on the was it Greensboro News and Observer or Greensboro News and Record, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I've been gone a little while. I'm a little fuzzy on my newspaper names.
What's the newspaper name that you always used to leave for me on a voicemail? It was like
the New Orleans Times-Picayune. It's the best. It sounds like a fake newspaper, but it's a real newspaper. It's great.
Okay, you need to stop, man. You're killing me.
Okay, yeah, so we need to see about getting Powell on to talk some hoops.
Okay, so Tuesday. So that, you know what that means then? If we're doing a show Tuesday, that means then that the new look word is going to have to get either bumped up to Tuesday
fine.
or bumped back.
We'll push it back. We'll push it back.
You want to push it back?
We'll push it back.
If I can figure out the technical details of it, it doesn't. It actually only requires something on my end.
Yeah, like 99% of the show, other than me showing up and talking and bullshitting, everything else requires your work.
Well, but this is like, I have to actually, dare I even say, purchase something, which I'm trying to avoid with this show right now. But
doesn't the show have a black Amex?
Oh, yes.
Do we have like the Onyx card from American Express?
What's the opposite? You know what we have? I don't even think American Express offers this. You have like the black Amex, yeah. What's the opposite of that? It's like a orange secured card with like a $250 deposit. That's like the limit. That's what we have.
No, we don't. No, that's Discover. We don't take Discover.
Oh, okay, you're right. That's the orange is Discover.
The orange card, yeah.
Okay, so.
So if it's the opposite of the black Amex, it's the white. I don't know why you always have to make everything a black-white thing.
Dude, that's what we do on this show. The main purpose of this show is to stir up racial tensions by using credit card analogies, which I think is actually that's actually a nice lofty goal.
And/or ebony and ivory puns. One of the two.
Yeah. Which
also
is
finishing each other's sentences.
This is. Okay.
Almost.
Wait. So, well, no. Actually, we're doing good on time. Never mind. I was gonna say we need to wrap up.
First time that's ever been said on this show. We're doing good on time.
Do you know? Because I actually figured out, talking about the revamped word. I figured out a new way to start the broadcast. Because I would always leave what I was doing and come into the green room here. But actually, I just start the show, and then you come into the green room, and then I move to the location. So that now it's like everything is just devoted to getting on the air. So this
is just like the Chappelle Show sketch where he's like walking out from backstage to start the show.
Yes, that is the word. Wow, Chappelle Show.
By the way, there are very few things in life that I can't relate back to a Dave Chappelle Show sketch.
I mean, it's funny. You look back at it, maybe, I don't think we took it for granted back then because we were really entertained by it. Obviously, then they started the whole, because look at it like this, like the Rick James thing. SNL skits had been around forever. But you didn't really run around yelling things from an SNL skit, like at strangers. I mean,
they had enough movies. There was Wayne's World, but generally speaking, I mean, maybe for like a week or two.
But it
was on to the next thing. Like that, 12 years later, is still I think a higher percentage of people would be able to complete that sentence than it could tell you, who the first 5 presidents of the United States were.
Well, that Chappelle ran into a problem with that because he doesn't perform as much anymore.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I saw him a couple of years ago. He was great.
You saw him live?
Saw him live. He came here to Florida.
Oh, wow. So
it was fantastic. He told an incredible Kanye story that he's told on a couple talk shows.
The one that he did on Kimmel recently? Or not Kimmel, Fallon?
Yeah, like a couple of years ago, where they're filming and they go back and they're watching sketches and he takes the phone call. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It was great. Brought the house down.
Well,
so go check that out, internet, if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, it is a good interview. But the one that I saw it on Fallon. But no, he's running into problems with that because he goes and does some stand-up shows. He did a festival, maybe it was like a year ago, and he couldn't get through his set because everybody was just yelling Rick James stuff at him.
It was the same thing at the show I went to where
no.
they're very strict on cell phones. Like, you can't have it out, or they'll take you out. Like they don't.
Wow.
Which that's a whole other conversation to have about. It seems like that's an issue for all comedians these days.
Yep.
People posting their stuff that they're workshopping, or people stealing their stuff because they're recording, all that sort of stuff. That's a whole separate issue. But they were really tight on the no blurting stuff out, no yelling stuff. And so he sort of did his set, and then he just got into a flow where it was just sort of story time with Dave. And I was loving it. He was just chain smoking, telling stories, telling the Kanye story, all sorts of stuff. And then people started shouting stuff. He was like, all right, that's it. Good night. Like, I felt like he would have kept going for another. I mean, that might have been the end anyway. I don't know. But it felt like it was just going to keep going. And people started getting a little loose. And it wasn't quite like call and response, but there were a couple times people said stuff and he like riffed off of it or whatever. And then people took it too far. And I mean, obviously, comment about, him and his sort of, I don't want to say.
His hiatus.
His hiatus, thank you. I was trying to think of the right word there.
Yeah.
And so obviously that was a real quick, like, just hook and, all right, thank you guys, good night.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that was disappointing, but if you get a chance to see him, he's still incredible.
I didn't know that he was doing shows regularly. I thought that was just kind of like a.
No, I think he's torn a decent amount, actually.
Okay, that's good. Did I disappear there for a second? Okay, so let's. We should have written down, but we don't have an intern, which is driving me nuts. But we should have written down the bold statements about the NCAA. You made the statement about.
Yeah, we haven't too many.
The lowest seed could
lowest
win.
seed ever will win. That was a bold statement,
which
I still don't feel good about, but it's come a lot closer than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, because now what do you have in there? You have a 2, a 1, and a 10.
Only 1. 2 2s, a 1, and a 10.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Oh, okay, sorry. I misheard you. See, I need an intern to tell me things that you say also.
Third base. Okay. So we have a 2 2s, a 1, and a 10. All right. Now you see Oklahoma, Carolina, and then Carolina ultimately win.
I do, but I'll tell you, Villanova's good.
Okay.
I did not see them winning. They won that game with defense against Kansas. And they made Perry Ellis a non-factor with that zone. I don't think that's going to work against Buddy. Buddy sees zone and just his eyes light up. Your hair looks great, James.
I know. I'm finding new things in my hair. Watch. I'm trying to look at it as I'm. So basically, so when one of us is talking, the other one gets minimized, and so I'm like checking out my hair as he's talking. So he's.
Oh, so that's like my cue to just vamp and keep talking, so you can check your hair.
Yeah, essentially. No. But carry on. I'm sorry, I won't check my hair.
Yeah. I just don't know if I see that zone being what takes the Hoosiers, or not the Hoosiers, the Sooners out. Pretty good team.
Oh wait, sorry to interrupt there. One thing I knew I was forgetting something is we wanted to go over this Duke Oregon.
Yeah, we can still get there. Oh yeah, we'll do a little. We'll do a little preview. We'll get back to it.
But wait, why? Okay, let me let you finish your point, then we'll get to that. I'm just jumping all over the place here, trying to look at my hair.
UNC over Oklahoma. End of story. There you go.
Okay. Is Oregon's mascot the Fighting Ducks, or is it the Ducks?
They're the Ducks. I saw that too. That was a little.
I'd never seen that before. I don't
never really see the Fighting Ducks. I mean, maybe that's technically what it is. Much like they'll say with Notre Dame, they'll refer to them as the Irish or the Fighting Irish.
Oh.
Which I guess you could shorthand it.
But I've never seen Oregon.
I feel like I've seen it before, but not really. Like it's not for football.
Exactly, and that's kind of. I felt like I would have seen it there. Excuse me. I know the duck can get aggressive in the way that it's portrayed, but it's still I've never seen anyway.
Yeah,
That being
Dak
said,
is real abusive when he gets drunk. I've seen it.
there's
Very
actually a lot
aggressive.
of really terrible memes of that on the internet. Like they recut some of these Disney. It's terrible.
Oh
It's
my
like some of them they actually don't even have to recut. Some of them were just that crazy when they actually came out.
Yeah, yeah.
And Tom and Jerry with the maid and everything. It's terrible. It's like,
Well, and speaking of Dave Chappelle, the old Chappelle bit about Pepe Le Pew.
oh man.
So
And
funny. So funny when you look at, or maybe not funny, but alarming.
there's Pepe Le Pew, but then there's also remember the WB Frog. He jumped on
Oh
the
yeah.
WB Frog
It's
too.
the
And I never ever thought of that. And growing up, we're watching the WB because Dawson's Creek is on, so of course we're gonna peep that. Were you a Creek guy? I was for like 3 seasons. Were you a Creek guy? It's okay if you don't want to talk about it. It's fine.
I was never baptized in the Creek of Beak. Never, just never got into it.
Yeah, I mean, it fizzled for me, but I was a Creeker for a hot minute. And
Creeker, was that the term?
I'm just making this up. I'm assuming that there has to be something like that, right? I don't know.
If you're a big fan of 90210, like what were you an aught? Like what? How does that?
Were you a zipper?
A zipper?
Oh man! Shout out to Tori Spelling. Shout out to my girl. Let me not get on that tangent because I have a lot of cable.
Let's transition back to the Fighting Ducks
because I have a lot of cable TV shout outs I need to make, and but we'll do that later.
That's going to be a whole episode. What is just you reading off the list? You're going to have like one of those scrolls.
Of course, number one on the list, of course, Christian Shaw, who we just talked about in the green room before we started. No, we'll save it for later. Okay, the end of the Duke-Oregon game. Of course, we're here with Richard Bruce McClintock Abernathy, who is a Duke. Nice. I've been saving that one for a while.
He was a Miami player a few years ago.
That's right, yeah.
Jack McClintock, yeah.
So we have, a Duke basketball supporter on the program, and I was really curious about your take on this. Of course, the three-pointer at the end of the game where it was getting away from Duke and the time was running down. There's interchanges in the handshake line that are now it's like, I didn't say that. He said that. This was ridiculous. I want to get you – let's have Rich's hot take on this. I think you said you wanted to go first, right? Or am I putting you on?
Well, I wanted you to go first, but I feel like you've already kind of laid it out. And my take is not going to be incredibly hard to figure out. But to quote the exceedingly mediocre Fred Durst, it's really all about the he said, she said bullshit. But why is, what's the John Oliver segment? Why is this still a thing?
Mm-hmm.
Why is this still a thing? It seems pretty simple to me. It seems fairly cut and dried, but obviously there's an anti-Duke bias, in my opinion. I think in the way that things are covered from year to year, people hate Duke for a variety of reasons. Some maybe justified, some not so much. But this instance seems pretty clear, which was one, Duke, tough loss, hung around, kind of had a chance to get back in. A couple things don't go their way. Oregon winds up winning fairly easily. Rather than just let the clock dribble out, he takes a shot, which he doesn't really think he's going to make. He makes it. Has the big celebration. I think it was more the celebration than the shot that kind of pissed everybody off on the Duke side. Although I've read and heard some things, all sort of hearsay, of course, because nobody who really knows anything is really talking. But I think there was some other jawing at various points during the game and him just shouting stuff towards the bench. And look, like I'm a Cam Newton guy. I can't be a complete hypocrite and hate on Dylan Brooks for doing some of the showboating stuff that I love Cam for doing, and other players love guys doing when they're on their team, but when it's the other team, they don't like the player. That I try to stay away from that as much as I can. But given the time and situation, I don't think he necessarily handled himself the best way. Because one, why even put yourself in that position? You're up 11 with, I know there are a few extra seconds, but you'd be up 11 with 4 seconds. Just let the clock run out. Act like you've been there before. That, I don't have a huge problem with the shot itself, but just don't even put yourself in that spot. But then the reaction to it, then Kay says something to him in the line, which was, I feel like, had good intentions of like, hey, you're a hell of a player. You know, you're kind of above that type of stuff. It was maybe a little preachy, but it wasn't. I don't think it was anything different than gets said after a lot of games, where you see, Kay giving the guy the pat on the chest and talking to, or Roy talking to somebody, or Tom Izzo talking to somebody, and then it sort of got blown out of proportion after. And I think what happened was Kay said it sort of in the heat of the moment, regretted saying something, didn't want to get involved, didn't want that to be a story. But rather than just saying, yeah, I said it, but that's not what we're here to talk about, he tried to kind of deny it to make it go away. And not because he was necessarily ashamed of what he did. I think he regretted it, but I don't think he was ashamed of it, if that makes sense. That distinction hits you. But I don't think he wanted that to be what they spent a lot of time talking about. And by trying to kind of bury it, he just stoked the flame. And I heard something interesting today that I couldn't have disagreed with more. That if it was Roy or Izzo or Cal or Patino or whoever who had done something like this, that they would be getting put through the ringer. So why is Kay getting off the hook? I think it's the opposite. I think if Cal does that, nobody bats an eye. It goes through, obviously the, hey, I didn't say it when they have audio that he said it is not a good look. Ultimately, does it really matter for anything? And people are trying to spin that, well, if they lie about this, what will he lie about? Like, just stop. It was a fairly benign thing. It got blown out of proportion. As always, the cover-up is worse than the crime. Pretty much every instance in American history that we've seen proves that to be the case. If during the press arcade just said, yeah, I said it. I kind of wish I hadn't. It wasn't really my place. He's a hell of a player. Oregon's a great team. That's what we need to be talking about, not what my comments were to him. Then it would have died. But covering it up, I feel like people are trying to change the intent or what it means about Kay or Duke or people are just way overthinking it and trying to have stuff to talk about, which I guess we're now guilty of as well. But I just don't understand why it's a big deal except for the fact that Duke is involved. If the same thing had happened after the Oklahoma-Oregon game and the guy had said that to Buddy Hield, Dana Altman says that and then lies about it, I don't think we're still talking about it 5 days later.
Let's say Richard Bruce McGruber Abernathy.
10 seconds, McGruber.
That is this week's version of hashtag Give It a Minute, talking about the Duke, the end of the Duke Oregon game. Hey, you said it. If it's Duke, it's everything. Remember that soundbite from the old Boston College coach? Certainly, Duke is Duke. They're on TV more than Leave It to Beaver reruns. Who was that? Who was that coach?
Al Skinner?
No, it wasn't.
You said BC.
Come on.
Well, that was your boy Al Skinner.
That was my dude, man. We used to really, man. One of the only times I was ever in the rafters at a Carolina game was against BC, which is actually kind of lame because it's not really.
Back when they used to win conference games in sports.
No.
All right, kick it a baller down.
Burn.
Put a baller down. I'm sorry.
Flame. Who's that superhero?
My sincerest apologies to Doug Flutie and Luke Kuechly. Kicked me out of Boston College.
Oh my gosh! But I know Al Skinner. We used to. That's just a very intense guy. Anyway, I wonder where he is now. No. Okay, now I completely. Now you lost.
Duke is Duke. They're on TV more than Leave It to Beaver.
Who? It was a New England. The guy was like a guy from Rhode Island. Had just a New England accent. Anyway, if it's Duke, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be this massive. It's a cover up, and who's he lying and stuff. And you were exactly right. Coach Cal comes through, says something like that. It's expected almost. But anything that Coach K does, it just becomes this massive story. I had a conversation a couple weeks ago with a friend of mine. Well, is he getting an unfair advantage recruiting younger players because he gets to contact them as Olympic prospects because he's the national team coach? And It's like, holy cow! Like,
You mean when
where?
every high school coach is out scouting high school players?
Well, no. They're saying as a college coach, he
No,
could
no, no, no. But I'm saying like it's the same thing that every college coach does.
Right. But there's rules about contact
Right.
but as a national team coach, he has a little bit of more wiggle room because a U16 national team player for the USA basketball is someone that he's allowed to communicate with because he's the coach of the senior national team. I'm using
Look,
a lot of
it's certainly not a doesn't do them a disservice clearly.
right, but no, but what I'm saying is
like the Christian Shaw point. He's not in, but he's not out.
dude. You trying to bring Christian? You trying to make this a Christian Shaw themed episode? No, we're gonna break it down because we only have like 2 minutes left. I mean, I'm not. It's not that I'm in. It's that I'm just. I'm conflicted.
I thought we were here. Tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, because I'm obviously biased on this. I'm a Duke guy. I can see how some things come across maybe not in an ideal way. Let's say.
Yeah, I mean,
like but they're the same things that every team has, and every team that it's human nature, it's competition, it's whatever. But there's such a predisposition to not like Duke in basketball, pretty much only. Like I don't remember anything else like it. Now I wouldn't. I'm sure that there was some anti Notre Dame or Yankees. I don't know if it's a. I mean, it's so fascinating. It's a class thing. I think it's a. For some people, it might be there might be a racial component because it seems like the hated guy is not Derek Thornton or Brandon Ingram. It's
Grayson Allen,
AJ Redick, or it's Grayson Allen, and I mean that's again another conversation for another day. But as a Carolina sympathizer, I know you have you're a little more moderate considering your time spent in Wallace Wade Stadium.
Yes.
I mean, what is it about Duke? Is it the success? Is it the arrogance? Because look, there's plenty of schools that are arrogant. If you think Cal and Kentucky aren't arrogant, then your head's in the sand.
Ooh.
Is it just the? Because I have a theory on this, and I'll make it quick, but I want to hear your thoughts, and then I'll give you my theory.
No, let's go with your theory because we're running low on time. I think your theory is going to be much more well formed than mine, and then we'll wrap up the show. We've got about 30 seconds.
My theory is they try to play both sides of it. If they would just embrace it and do you know what? We give zero. We can curse on this podcast, right?
Yeah, I've decided that that's allowed, but
right.
Yeah.
I'll try to keep it.
No. There's no reason. Like you said, we either make this song or we could not make this song. You're too close, man. Another Chappelle Show skit. We got like how many Chappelle Show references?
Case in point. That's pure Cambodian, man. I think if Duke would kind of almost embrace it and just give zero fucks, they could pull it off. Like I feel like Calipari, Kentucky's like, I don't care. Say whatever you guys want to say. I'm trying to do what's best for the kids and this team, and we're going to try to win, and we're going to try to whatever. Or I feel like Duke tries too hard to uphold the we're the playing the game the right way type of thing instead of just not that I want them to go 20-11 LeBron and try to be the villain when they're not, and because he tried to do the same thing. He started taking heat, and instead of counteracting it, which is like, all right, I'm going to be the bad guy now. I'm going to be the guy you want me to be, and he went off the deep end. I don't want him to do that either, but I feel like part of what it's like the guy who seems like the nice guy and then says the jackass thing where people get upset, whereas the guy who's always the jackass and says the jackass thing and nobody pays it any attention. And he's like, well, what are you getting mad at me for? He said the same thing and you guys aren't mad at him. That's the type of thing with Duke where it's that people think they're trying to be something that they're not and they're trying to play both sides of the whole deal rather than just be like, we don't really care.
Like the Detroit Pistons in the late 80s. Like we are just the bad boys.
Yeah.
And we don't care what you think. and we're gonna throw elbows and like not even try to disguise it. Okay, I like it.
It's just a theory. I'm sure all my Carolina people will have a little more succinct reason for why that is.
No, that was succinct. That's perfect. I think that's a great and that is the dilemma, I would say, of college athletics in general. Is we have to be, and you see these commercials now. They got Billie Jean King, they got Shaq talking about academics.
That's the next week topic. I can't even get started on that right now.
But it's because they're understanding, and now it's become a PR campaign, a big PR campaign. You bring out those kinds of names.
Yeah,
that's basically saying, that's understanding that they have to uphold this academic commitment that, of course, is supposed to symbolize college athletics. But
they got the Shaq and Kenny too, by the way.
They got what?
They got the Shaq and Kenny too on that. They had a whole thing at the desk the other night or after the game last night.
Really?
About paying athletes and stuff, and they were all just like, "No, you can't." Like, obviously, that's what Clark's going to say. He's been there. He's been brainwashed. He's been in the Clockwork Orange room way too long.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Chuck and Kenny, I was not expecting that from. I thought they would give a little fight. I mean, especially Chuck would be like, "Hell no, pay him." But he went you can't discount the quality of an education and this and that and the other.
Oh yeah, he's on that Kool-Aid. I mean, he's been doing these games for a couple of years now. What are they going to do? He knows the company line. It's the NCAA. It's the mafia, bruh.
Did they have like the chip, and when he walks in to do college, like Manchurian candidate, they like flip it, and then when he goes back to do NBA playoffs, they turn it off. Like,
yo, those paychecks, man, they're not a game.
Hey,
they're real.
I'll say this though: if I was making what Chuck was making, hey, I'll say whatever you guys want me to say.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Don't care.
that's why TV.
Well, and also, if these athletes start getting paid, Chuck ain't making that much money from Turner for going on there and doing games.
That's right. You got to keep it all in one pot. Okay, we gotta remember this week's hot take. I'm sorry. What is it? Hot action. What is the name of the bad thing that we did? Side action.
Side action.
Side action.
No way my boys read that book.
Your Rich's coworker has read 48 Laws of Power, or all right, I'll add a little caveat, or any Robert Greene book. But I'll say 48 Laws of Power is where you learn what he does to you with the whole like come to me, not me coming to you.
Okay. I have a joke off air about this person's alma mater that I won't share with the public.
Wow. Okay. Hot take.
Well, it's just
next week. We are not broadcasting on Monday. We are live on Tuesday. College basketball national championship wrap up, and we've got
some guests.
Richard, Joe Half-Life Hafera. I'm over here promising he's going to be on the show. They got to talk. Wait, is he West Coast still, or is he still? No, he's in Massachusetts, right?
Although, for all I know, he's really like in MI6, and he's in Stad right now on like some sort of secret mission.
If there was anybody that could pull it off, it's the creator of cuddlecentral.unc.edu.
That's what a gig of RAM will get you, baby.
Stop. All right. We're done. We'll see you next week, Tuesday. I don't know what day that is, but thank you for watching The Word. For Richard Bruce Affleck Abernathy.
He is James Caviezel Mundia. We'll see you guys next Tuesday. Thanks for watching The Word. We're out.
Caviezel.